Well, Improv Jones is a group of actors, local actors, who get together a couple times a week and do improvisational theater.
Just to have something to do, to to perform, have that performance outlet taken care of, and also to have some fun and maybe make a little money. But that was the last thing on our mind when we started.
Well, I've been in Improv Jones since the beginning. Improv Jones started at this theater on the east side called Second Story Theater, and that's where I started acting. The improv started when the artistic director of that theater at that time decided that she wanted to make an improvisational theater troupe. So she took some of the better actors from the theater and put us together and gave us this workshop once a week. We did a lot of exercises. It's not quite the same thing we do now. It's a lot of exercises by this woman named Viola Spolin, who started doing improvisational. She sort of invented improv theater like in the 1940s.
I've watched you now through the two-way mirror behind, yes, that's right, behind there, that's right. And I've seen you open the hermetically sealed books. Yes, that's right, those are right there. And I've seen you smear your filthy, purulent hands all over the books, and you're enraging me! You are enraging me! You're enraging me!
When you're doing just comic stuff, you tend to shoot for the lowest common denominator.
I had it pierced and split just for this job! Hey, it's improv!
We ended up doing some shows and sort of running it ourselves and sort of ditching the teacher and became the Second Story Improv Troupe. We changed the name to Improv Jones. And we've added like a bunch of people, but basically it was me and Luis, and Krista was there, not right at the beginning, but at Second Story. And then we added more people.
I was in the sort of like the second wave.
George auditioned, Algernon auditioned, Kimball auditioned, Joanne auditioned, Marvin auditioned, and our intern Chris auditioned.
Yes.
What did you give to the house?
Saturday?
Where? What did you give to me?
14.
Saturday, yeah. Where are we rehearsing Saturday? We rehearsed at your house on Saturday?
This Saturday, at what time?
8, 7:30?
7, 8, fine, my house fine. So are we expecting Chris and...
I think Chris is coming, and Algernon called me wanting to know if we had a show, because they're teching tonight for food.
Oh no.
So I guess we're going to be upstairs. I told him I thought we had a show.
We go through periods where we're really organized, and we're rehearsing all the time, and like everybody's into it, and nobody has outside projects, and we're gung-ho.
Look what I brought.
The list?
The magic, copy of the list.
All
Give me
right.
that. Oh!
Ooh, as I don't know.
Who has a computer?
Me! I want to do it. Me!
His computer doesn't work.
I love to play with my computer.
The guy with the computer who can print up the programs, he's the one who's the leader of the group.
My computer works, does it?
I love solid
got a
questions
picture.
of these.
It feels like, because Maura's got the computer, and because he has a house, and because he seems to be like living the married lifestyle, feels like I get a sort of weird pop feeling about him, and I don't know that everyone feels that way. I feel like he's a central figure, but I mean, that's just my feeling, and I can't say that that's true, and I know some people have said, so what is Maura, the leader?
Sometimes Luis and I get into this, like, we tend to sometimes get on each other's nerves.
Right.
Can we do Brian again?
Okay, you need to chill out. Who are you to tell me what I'm supposed to...
Sometimes when we're on stage together, it goes well, and I think we can communicate well, but then sometimes we piss each other off.
Luis he's the one who you can count on to say what the fuck, and to say something about someone's breast somewhere along the line. He's going to bring up that when things are really tense, even when they're not. I mean, we did a zero PC for 500, and we were told not to. We were asked politely by the school not to be risque, and the first thing out of his mouth was we had to tell the truth and a lie about our freshman year of college, and the first thing out of his mouth was it was the first year I smoked pot, and it was also the first year I performed cunnilingus on a woman, and we're like, no.
How did you get started in making origami?
Well, it all began when I was 6, I used to touch myself regularly. My mother needed to give me something to occupy myself.
I don't know. It's very bizarre. Kimball is a very strange man. It's hard to place him.
There was this game show called Password. It was on in the 70s. Now, I'm the only one that lived in the 70s.
I remember when people
But
lived
in
in
the
the 70s too.
70s, we had a game show called Password with Alan Ludden, who invented this gesture. Okay? And Carol Burnett, in addition to being a talented actress and comedian,
Was a good password player.
one of the greatest password players of our generation. She really was. And she would always be on that show, and she would just be incredible.
Well, she kicks ass in Jeopardy.
Oh, they just talk.
Oh, you saw her in Jeopardy?
I see,
Oh, I would
I've
have liked to
seen
have seen
Jeopardy.
that.
She's just an intelligent, vivacious woman with a nice body, underage.
Jesus God, Kimball. Carol
I
Burnett.
can't stop thinking of Carol Burnett.
You do.
Chris is sort of like a the older sister, maybe a little. Kind of like the older sister though that gets you pot. I mean, not like she smokes pot, but she's not like the serious older sister. She's like the crazy older sister.
Get some, chill out.
But everybody has different things. Like Algernon is kind of, like he's got this sort of crazy thing where he like comes up with wacky shit.
Would you like to rent my little boy? Shut up!
And like, I kind of like that, sometimes, because that's like, you can play in that sort of, like, this is a little surreal arena,
I don't want you here! Go!
What are you
Go!
doing?
I'm replacing my arm with a big carrot.
Anything interesting happened to anyone today? Yes, tell us about it, sir.
Oh, I don't want to talk.
Oh, no,
Oh,
just,
so
just really
Two sentences.
two sentences.
We went to a restaurant and the hostess was incredibly rude.
Oh,
And I don't understand how they get business that way.
Okay.
And your car broke down.
Oh, my car broke down.
That's part.
We interrupt this improv game to bring you this live special report. It seems that a man in Providence recently walked into I'm reading it right here in front of me, walked into a restaurant and was surprised to find that the hostess was absolutely abominable. We're going now live to the scene of the crime. I guess we could call it where the man is talking to our on-the-spot reporter, George Sonia III.
Hello. Yes. Now I understand your car broke down in front of the restaurant, and you were going into. It's a hellish scene here, by the way. There's police and fire trucks. I can't believe it. Could you tell us, please, quickly, what exactly happened? Your car broke down, and
I'm so upset by this. My
Yes.
car broke down in front of the restaurant, and this woman just came out and laughed. She was laughed at me, and I was trying to change the tire, and I'm sorry.
George, I'm losing the connection. Can I ask you really quickly, was the man able to actually eat his dinner?
He was not able to eat his dinner. No. In fact,
She waved it in front of my face.
She would taunted him with it, and he smelled it, and it smelled real good, but she wouldn't let him eat it.
A terrible shame. For those of you just joining us, we are live at the scene of a restaurant in Providence. I'm not sure which restaurant it is yet. It may be Bertucci's, where a man was given terrible service by the hostess. We were joined in the studio now by our resident sociologist, Kimball Crossley, who is going to discuss the sociological implications of this event. Kimball, tell us, what is it in our society that causes us to produce these terrible hostesses? Kimball, we're live on the air.
Yeah, you're referring, of course, to people who are rude.
Well, I guess so. The report's coming in, she waved the food in front of their
Well,
face.
I thought any idiot knew that people actually respond better if they're treated rudely. Studies have shown, bozo, that most restaurants with rude waiters and waitresses do better business than those with polite ones.
Well, that's-
And if you had just done a little background work, smarty pants.
Before we leave, we're going to join the George Sonia, our roving reporter, once again live at the scene of the rude incident. George, anything else?
I just spoke to her. We were trying to get an interview with the waitress to find out exactly. And I told her she's a bitch. I said, would you like to speak to me? She said, fuck you, George. I don't like your haircut. I mean, I was very upset. I don't.
That's a shame.
I don't know if I can go on.
You have it there, folks. Very succinctly said by our was a bitch. We sell these shirts for $10. We have them.
And
We love performing for you.
we love performing for you. Bring your friends, tell your friends, come again. Thank you very much.
Hey, good night.
The core of this game is taking a banal activity and making it into an Olympic event. Like, it's slow motion, so you're breaking down this process, which is very boring, into, like, very banal, into these tiny, like, very slow, like, very detailed thing, and that's what's fun. The thing that I like about the two people doing it is kind of what Luis is saying, though, is that there is like two people involved in the competition. I mean, whether or not they're throwing matches at each other or actually trying to push each other over, even if they're not doing it, it's still a competition where the two people, which wasn't just with us, there were two people. And like, if two people are competing to try to do something the best, even if it's in a ridiculous manner, I think that makes the dynamic, and you don't have to have them actually interacting by pushing each other.
I felt like a lot of what I was doing wasn't being seen because Luis was being much bigger than me, and I was trying to get someone to notice that I was done and it wasn't happening, and I was trying to do this and trying to do that, and there was all this, and there was so much going on.
I think it can be a very stale game. It gets repetitive, and then I think what happens is certainly when I'm an announcer, I know like I'm trying to create something myself because I'm afraid that I'm bored just watching slow motion of the same thing that I've watched a million times. Because suppose someone goes first, and we say, what a beautiful thing they did. That had a lot of height, that had a lot of this, they had a lot of that. Now let's see if Luis can top that. And he goes out there thinking, shit, now I'm going to have to see if I can top that. And he might create something really different to top it, like full big pieces of paper. Like that. Like that's the biggest thing.
And we go through these down periods, which we're kind of in right now, where everybody's doing something else, we're never rehearsing, it's hard to find out where people are, there's like everybody's questioning like how committed everybody else is.
I don't know how many people are feeling the crisis pull that Moro says he's feeling and that I'm feeling to some extent, and Krista. Someone said the other night, it's just not fun anymore. And everyone's been working outside of Improv Jones this year, so, which is a good thing. I don't know, I feel like it's either up or down. It's either going to go to, or not up necessarily, but it's going to go to a very different place, or it's going to go apart. Well, Moro and Algernon are going to the conservatory, and which will make them very unavailable. I think more unavailable than they realize at present. And Joanne is going to be going to a seminary. The next year is going to be really weird, I think. And finally I'm going, yeah, I'm going to make it happen, and everyone could just go, well, enough already. Lord only knows.
We're still going. So.
Did Moro sound this pessimistic? But Marvin, I don't know why Marvin's in the group sometimes. I mean, at this point, I don't know why he's included in the list, because he's been to so few shows. Yeah, and he's the last show he did, he only ended up showing up because he was there to pick up a girl. He came to the theater to pick up someone who was in the show, and we went, oh, you're here for the show? He went, well, no, sort of, I guess I am.